Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right, welcome to Cashflows. I'm Cash Matthews. We're glad you're here today. And coming to you from high atop the beautiful studios at Elevate Coworking in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are glad you're here. This is a place where we explore some of those life questions about life and business and relationships and health and whatever shows up on our plate we enjoy. That's and, right. You know, life, you can get kind of stuck out there in the world. And, you know, maybe you don't have traction in the area that you would like to, and maybe you're just trying to learn a little more about a certain topic. And we employ a philosophy called Fire, Aim, Ready, which implies sometimes it's just time to take swift, immediate action, not perfect action. And, you know, so many people get stuck, Kenneth, and they, you know, they've got a dream or a goal or a mission or a poem or a play they want to write, and it just never happens.
Right.
And I think there's this friction in life that we can overcome by collaborating with other people. And what I found that worked for me was copying off of my neighbor in the third grade. And the first third of that year went really well for me because I was copying off my neighbor. And then my teacher/aunt, that's what it's like living in a small town, caught me and asked me, why are you copying off of Joe Mark Cowden? And I thought that was the dumbest question I'd ever heard. I'm like, seriously? Like, he's smarter than me. Why wouldn't I copy off of him? He studied. And I was offering that as a very practical answer, but after the butt whipping subsided,
right.
I became educated on why we don't copy off our neighbors. But as an adult, it's one of the best things we can do.
It was the Board of Education there.
It was the Board of Education. Yeah, 40 whacks. It was like she beat me senseless because she didn't want to be seen as, you know, showing nepotism towards her 18th favorite nephew.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I was
right.
not. I was in the top 20, but I was like number 18.
Yeah, that's understandable.
On her favorites list. So. Yeah. You know, that's kind of how that went. But we found out in life it's okay to copy off your neighbor. We bring people in with different viewpoints from around our community and their wisdom and their pain and the things they've learned and the things they've messed up might serve to encourage our listener here on Cashflows.
Yeah.
So with that, let me introduce my co-conspirator in all things good, Mr. Kenneth Bauckham.
Hey, that was a good studio voice.
Mr. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you.
Well, thanks for introducing me, Cash. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we are part of a group together, the B.O.N.G group, the Business Owners Networking group.
Yes.
That's where we met our speaker today, or our guest host,
yeah.
or guest today.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you've been involved with that for a little while.
Oh, yeah. Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group. So, man, going on a year, maybe a little bit more now. So right. It's been really good to be a part of. And I know that group is helping sponsor this podcast,
yes,
and our podcast is trying to help people from that group, entrepreneurs, new and old, young and seasoned, or maybe I got young and old and new and seasoned, but anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Entrepreneurs, no matter who you are, help them do better things. And I also know that many of them have trouble kind of knowing how to handle certain things. And so we've got some daily wisdom, some tips that we're going to try and share with them.
And I think that's one of the things that every entrepreneur needs to revisit from time to time.
Yeah.
Is how do you run a business?
How do you run a business?
What happens is we get good at a thing, you know, maybe it's video editing and financial or selling makeup or real estate or roofs or whatever. We get good at a thing, but then that's step number one. You have to be good at something or you have to be on the path to good. But step number two is, how do I run the business? Mm-hmm. And I spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs the last 42 years of my career, just talking to business owners about what they face and what's going on in the daily walk. Mm-hmm. And you begin to learn things, you know, like and wisdom just means something happened bad and you learn from it.
That's right.
Wisdom rarely comes from something that went unbelievably well.
Yeah.
Wisdom usually comes from a problem you endured, usually you probably created. And one of the things, and this will be a brief lesson today, about how to run your business is to get things in writing. Mm-hmm. You know, we put on a lot of events and we get them in writing.
Yeah.
And I think there's, you know, the fortune in business is usually in the follow-up. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big follow-up guy. You know, we have an event coming up soon, and it's a big event. Mm-hmm. It's a big, expensive event. we started planning it over a year ago. And over a year ago, I planned it and I put everything in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And, the world has changed a lot in the last year. Prices have gone up. And I began to visit with the people supplying the food and the drink and the this and the that.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, and they began to give me a talk. And I went, well, I have a contract with you in writing.
Yeah.
And I would sure like to honor that contract, the one that we already have.
Yeah.
We already have a contract for this date. A contract must have consideration, money. They have a deposit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've fulfilled all of my obligations. At that point, I'm so glad that I had the wherewithal to put in writing what it was. Because if I didn't honor the contract, they would sure come back at me and sue me.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing to you is put it in writing, create a paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you follow up with that. And it requires each of us to be diligent in the work that we do. We are called to be excellent at the work we do. We're not in a world where you can just be, I'm okay at it. God tells us in the book of Proverbs, show me a person skilled in their work, and this will be a person who shall serve before kings and queens and not the obscure man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not calling you obscure. That comes from a higher source. But we are called to be excellent. And excellence in business requires a lot of things. I mean, you got to be good at your thing, but you also must be excellent at running your business. And one of the things that we've done since day one is we just put everything in writing.
Yeah.
And if I'm unsure with somebody, man, I'll shoot an email out. A text is something in writing.
Yep.
And, putting things in writing to me is one of the most effective things that you can do as a business owner. And in this busy, hectic world, one of the best things to put in writing are your appointments and your confirmations. I over-confirm. If you've been to any of our events, you get 5, we had this morning, it's early, 5 confirmations to somebody to show up for an event, so they can't very well go, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
And putting things in writing will check other people's character, not yours.
Yeah.
So if you're running a business today, and man, make sure you write things down. Put things in writing, make a record of what you talked about, because nothing's worse than getting back together. Well, in our case, 12 or 13 months later after this event we're putting on, and going, hey, what did we agree on last December at 9 p.m. and I was tired? What did we agree on? and I'm a big believer, put it in writing.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the best things you can do. And it's easy to do, just requires a piece of paper and a pen, or I don't know if you've seen, they have these new phones and they have they have notepads on them, and you
type right on them.
You can do these email is what it's called. You can email or text.
Mm-hmm.
You can text somebody, bother them wherever they are 24/7.
That's right.
All right. Enough said about put it in writing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to get on with our show today. I think it's probably time to do the show.
It's probably time. We have a guest and all that. So.
When did you show up? Okay. All right. Well, I am excited. We have Marella Dias here today. And Marella, say hello.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty good. I mean, she's off to a good start.
Yeah.
It's weird doing a podcast, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's weird for us too, mostly because we're just here to tell jokes to each other.
That's right.
And if we didn't have a guest, we would sit here about 8 hours a day and make stupid jokes. So thank you for interrupting the boredom that we've created.
Well, I think we've already had some good laughs.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have.
Yeah, that's... I can't
Once
wait.
or twice.
I can't wait for the blooper reel at the end of all these podcasts to come out. That'll be 10 hours long.
Possibly.
Yeah, we're just a big, long blooper reel interrupted by occasional excellence.
There we go.
Well, this will be great. So, Marella, thank you for being here for
Thanks
the
for
Cashflows
having me.
podcast. We're hoping that our people listen. And so we've got listeners, but we've got watchers too, because this is there's a new deal called YouTube. You can put videos on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That's
going to.
amazing.
Right, it's on the internet and everything.
It's on the internet. Yeah, you're going to be on the internet.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big deal. So we want to learn about you. So there's 2 parts to business. There's the business side, but it's the people behind the business that make everything kind of go around for me and for Kenneth. We love the people story, and we met you through this weird group called the B.O.N.G, and we would like to get your perception, just like how you found the B.O.N.G and what it's. I mean, I know you've met a few people, and you've done some one-on-ones, and we've heard your name bantered about now. So tell us who you are, and start with the B.O.N.G group, though. We want to hear what your experience has been like with that.
Well, at first, I can't remember who put me in there. I just got back from Italy, and someone put me in there, and for the life of me, thank you for doing that, but I can't remember. And I kind of just was like, I don't know what to do. And then I was like nervous because I'm like, I'm supposed to meet people one-on-one. I don't even know these people. And I kept missing the first, the newcomers one and and then the other one. And so it took me a while.
Right.
But I was watching, I was listening, and and I think I made a couple of posts and stuff. And then when I finally got to go, I think no, I did a one-on-one first. That's what I did.
Yeah, with one of our members.
Yes.
And but you met them somewhere probably on the B.O.N.G page.
Yes,
the Facebook
yes.
page. Right.
So we did the one-on-one, and then I met you at a different group.
Right.
And then there was other people from the B.O.N.G there, and then they got me they're like, hey, no, it's really cool. So they made me more comfortable once I got to know the people. And so, yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, the B.O.N.G people are everywhere. I don't go to many other things. I rarely, I got enough going on. And did I meet you at one of the chamber lunches or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm trying to remember back when
my husband came with me, which is very rare.
Yes, that's right.
He's not into...
Yeah,
I forced him to come.
And I'm more like that. I don't go to many of those things. I don't, I felt like I wasn't going to know anybody. And I get there, and of course, it's full of B.O.N.G people. And I guess we're sort of like termites or ants. We're everywhere. But that's a cool thing. So you've been able to do some one-on-ones.
Yes.
And meet people, make friends. And that's been going well for you?
Yes, it has. I've... yesterday I did one, and we talked for hours, and we could have talked for even longer.
Okay, I got to know who that was.
Christy.
Which Christy?
I'm so bad with last names, but she does the podcast, the Christian podcast, and the inspirational.
Was it Christy Bridges?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah. And then before that was Rebecca. She does the taxes.
Right.
Oh, we talked for hours,
yeah,
too.
Anyway, now I'm showing the state of my brain. It's not in good shape.
Me and names, the fact that I remember their names.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have the same thing, and if I can't make a joke, then...
Yeah, John, let's continue on with our guest.
Okay. All right. Welcome to our...
Mike.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan podcast. Wait, I'm sorry. I've got that all wrong. I'm sorry, Joe. Please don't sue me. I have no money. So... where do you come from? You're in. So our story before this is you're talking about being in Italy, and that's just a real normal. Most of our
every day.
Most of our listeners come from Italy.
Yeah.
So walk us through how do you end up in Italy? And,
when we start at the beginning of my childhood of how I.
You can glaze over that a little bit. I want to find out how you got to Italy.
Well. So I was born into a missionary family.
Okay.
So my dad was a missionary. I was born in Hood River, Oregon. And my dad's from Seattle. So West Coaster.
Right.
My dad was a missionary, so we moved to Japan. So, before we moved there, we traveled around Asia. And then we moved to Japan. And then, so I grew up in Japan and Thailand. I lived in Hong Kong, and I lived in Malaysia.
Oh, my gosh. So, all right.
Yes. So then we came back to the States, and then I went back to Thailand as an adult. And so I stayed there for a few years, and then I came back, and that's how I found out about Oklahoma, and I went to Bible school.
Rhema Bible School?
Yes, actually. Huh?
Got it. All right.
So I went there, and then I met my husband at an after-church event, and he was actually from Seattle, too.
Okay.
His dad and him went to the same church as my family had for 30, 40 years.
Right.
So never met him there. So we got married. We stayed in Oklahoma for a long time, and then we moved to Ohio. Then we moved to Pennsylvania. And then at Pennsylvania, we went to Italy. My husband worked for the Department of Defense. So so we were in Italy.
And how long were you in Italy?
Just 2 years.
Okay. One of the places that I want to go, I mean, were you there long enough to really enjoy it?
We went everywhere.
Okay.
It was during COVID, though. But we had our own car.
Right.
And us housewives, we know how to work through it. So we did everything. We went to wine tours. It's like 10 to 20 euro to go to a winery. You get your cheese, you get your meat, you get your dessert, depending on how much you spent. You get to taste all the wine. You get to be a military housewife and have fun.
Right.
So we did all that, and then I homeschooled. So I had a friend who homeschooled, so we took the kids everywhere.
Right.
And then we traveled, and we went everywhere. We went all the way down to the Boot, right where you would get onto Sicily, and then all the way back on the other side. So we went to Rome like 3 times.
So your kids got to do all of this as
Oh,
well.
yes. And they're sick of naked people, and they're sick of museums.
Wait, they don't have clothes in Italy?
All the museums have naked people.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay, that was
It's just the first time I went to the museum, I was like, kids don't look inappropriate. Like there were some inappropriate pictures like of naked people.
Right.
And I was just like, and the Italian lady was like, you're too close. And she was freaking out. And I was like, dude, my children, we don't. By the time my son would be like, Dad, there's your favorite thing. It was because they have the naked person everywhere on underwear everywhere. So
okay, well, I thought maybe just in Italy they lacked clothing. It was a clothing optional country.
I'm still trying to figure out what the kids are doing enjoying the wineries. I mean,
my kids drink wine.
Is that right?
Yeah, because my daughter's 15 and a half.
Ah,
but not like drank it. Like they would have sip, and pretty much everyone would because the Italians, they'd be like, "Oh no, it's okay. They can drink wine there."
That's what we do over there.
Okay.
So we would let them have sips and taste it and stuff. But all because all the kids were like, I mean, the Italians would serve them too. Oh, do you want to? No. But then they would be like, well, can I have a taste? So
there you go.
Yeah.
I still want to go. I've just got in my brain that it's just this great big Olive Garden.
So the best place though for
assessment.
wine is where we lived in North Italy,
right?
Because we've been everywhere. The best place for olive oil is Abruzzo. So, and then, they say Sicily has some good. I don't know. I didn't really particularly like it, but I didn't go to Sicily. But if you want to go to wineries, North Italy.
Yeah. So what's the big major city in North Italy that you're near?
Venice.
That's where Venice is.
An hour away.
And that's where they make venison.
Too.
I may not have that right either. Maybe not. I'm sorry. My geography is weak. Oh dear. Sorry about that. So you came back to the States after COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year.
So you've just been back a year. Okay, well, welcome back. But now part of your life is promoting and living an organic lifestyle. And
yes.
I want to hear a little bit about that because honestly, it's something I can't relate to. I don't know anything about it.
I can tell you everything.
I've heard a little bit about it. You know, there's organic stuff, but I don't have an educational base. So talk for a minute about what is the organic lifestyle and then why that's important to you.
So organic, they say like, oh, just buy the stuff in the store that says organic. Well, I don't even do that. I look at it. I look at the sources. I look at the ingredients because just because it's organic doesn't mean it's organic.
And it doesn't mean that it's good for you either.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
So I try to shop local as much as possible. I purchase a cow and I make sure that cow is grass-fed. I make sure that it's unvaccinated because of all the chemicals in the cow and all the toxins
Okay,
and
so
stuff.
have you heard the grass-fed beef?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have as well. And that's, but I'm probably doing it for the wrong reasons. It's just more delicious.
Yes.
Oh,
but now it's better to get local because the store, when it says grass-fed, it actually by law, love our laws, only has to be grass-fed for 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, like the last 3 months when they're finishing.
Yes. Yeah. Everything that they have for their requirements is just like, 3 months for this, 3 months for that. And so the best way to do it is the local farmers market.
Got it.
So,
I didn't know that. That's cool to know because we've been more in tune with that part. Just we eat meat and
I do too.
And it's hard to find. Well, I mean, with the price of meat going up and you start to learn a little bit about it, but I didn't realize that's considered organic, but apparently so.
Yeah.
Is that the same with all? I would just call it the barnyard chickens and pigs, or are they organic?
You want to get local. You really do. I don't eat pork, but Italian pork's really good though.
So one of our B.O.N.G members, Lindsey Graham, she is awesome, and she's one of the founding members of B.O.N.G, and she bought 25 acres, and she raises pigs and chickens and cows, and they call it gram acres, like green acres.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she sells local produce and eggs and honey, and she's just kind of brilliant anyway. But that's a neat connection. I'm going to check with her and see about buying, because you're going to buy it somewhere.
Yeah, and you might as well buy local. You're helping your local person, but you're helping the environment, because most local people, they do it correctly. Like, people don't realize when they say, oh, I want to protect the environment, and it's all this foo-foo stuff,
Right.
We won't name names of people who come out with videos.
Off the record, I want to hear those names when we get over here to the side.
So, but really helping the environment is having animals and is having produce, but you rotate.
Right.
You rotate this year we're going to do the vegetables here. Next year the cows will be here.
Right.
And it actually is better for the environment that way. But having it how the, industry has it, that actually does hurt the environment. It hurts you. It hurts the environment. It hurts
because they're taking
everything.
all the nutrients out of the ground. And so
if you do it properly, you're going to have great nutrients and everything.
So what do you make of all the chemicals and things? Like, one of the things we tried to do is I read some stories about fluoride.
It's very toxic.
And it's really bad for you. So a couple of years ago, you know what? We need to get all the fluoride out of our body. And we started looking at all the chemicals and the bleach that are in our daily cleaners. And we started trying to really remove the toxins from our life, because we're volunteering to do it the wrong way. And we got bleach and chemicals and things that are really awful. Am I on the right track?
Yes. So a lot of people say, they ask me, they're like, well, what's the point? You have this, everything's toxic, which is true. Everything's toxic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even your clothes. So like I said, you have to do what you can do and what with money you have. Like, I can't afford to buy all organic clothing.
Right.
But I've seen it at the store where it was $10. So I would buy it. I tried to buy, and it's getting harder and harder. And if I've noticed, because I've been doing it for the last 20 years,
right,
it's harder and harder to find 100% cotton.
Oh, yeah.
So I try to buy, even though it's toxic, full of chemicals. But the less chemicals that you have in your body, the healthier you're going to be.
Right.
So everybody has progesterone and estrogen. So they're connected to each other. And they talk to each other. And that's how your body is working. They're communicating. So every time you put a synthetic chemical in your body, anything, it goes like this, and it goes up and up, and it's like, I can't hear you. I'm talking to you. Stop that. No, it can't hear you. It can't communicate. So then your body doesn't function correctly.
Right.
So the less toxins that you're putting in your body, the less any chemicals, anything like that, the better that you're going to be able to have your body communicate and actually function correctly. Because God, He's so amazing. He made our bodies to function correctly.
Right.
He did that. And he even said he commanded us to take care of the earth, and he commanded us to take care of our bodies.
Right.
But every time our bodies don't function with chemicals in it and all this crap.
Yeah, I'll just say we've been more aware of the chemical side. And during COVID, we owned some Airbnbs, and the EPA put out a list of hey, these are some things you can use. And we found a cleaner that had no bleach, no ammonia, and I don't remember what's in it. But it was on the approved list of hey, this will work and this will kill COVID. And so we found some alternatives out there in the world that were really nice. And, the people that showed it to us, oh, you can drink this. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to.
Yeah, no thanks.
I want to meet the guy that's hey, we got this bottle of cleaner. You in?
I have Young Living. I do Young Living.
Yeah.
And so the cleaner, you could technically, but they have a spray, and they say it's good. You can spray if you want to touch the handlebar.
Right.
So you just take it around and you spray it.
Right.
But I actually do take that spray when I have a cough or sore throat.
Oh, wow.
Because you can actually eat it. So that one I haven't done the cleaner. But I mean, I guess if I had to.
Man, I got cats. I'm going to the cleaner like crazy. And like, I'm just following the cats around, wiping up after them because they're cats. And I've got dogs and I've got a child at home. And, I mean, I think that stuff's important. And we have a lot of people at our house. So we clean our house a lot. And I just wanted to go, all right, I have a choice. I can buy wherever I want to, and as it turns out, I'm not going to name the big box stores because I don't want Walmart to sue me. But I buy from distributors who find these things and put them out, and they're all B.O.N.G members. That's the thing that we're trying to do. And I think life's a little better, but that fluoride thing, man, I read stories and I'm like, and I had no idea because, you grow up in the 60s when I did. I didn't actually grow up, but I made it through the 60s. And you hear stuff about fluoride and cavities and like.
But you know who used it, right?
I don't.
Hitler.
Oh, well, okay. We're not going to go that direction on this show, but
research it. That's all you have to do.
Okay, well that's a good enough. So you're in the young living business as well.
Yes.
So I've had heart problems most of my life. I had a genetic kind of thing, and my wife buys Young Living, and somebody said, "Hey, why don't?" And I just had an irregular heartbeat, and one of the things that eased my irregular heartbeat, and I can't even. It was a green one and a blue one. And it's like, and they had instructions like put this under your toe and put this on your earlobe. And it soothed my irregular heartbeat. And I don't offer that as a medical claim. It's not. I'm just saying I use some of those essential oils. And man, before that, I'll just say I was not an advocate. And a lot of these things that are going on in the world, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool story, bro. And, but man, I used it and I got results. And I was upset that I got results. Like, dang it. No.
Why is this working?
I can't tell my buddies that I have an essential oil routine now every day. So, yeah, I'm that.
Well, you don't have to tell them whether it's like Valvoline or Young Living. I mean,
yeah.
Well, they might
it's just
smell
oil.
you. My son will be like, the kids were smelling me at school and said I smelled weird.
Well, I'm going to smell weird either way on that side of it. So some things you can't hide. Now, I know that we spoke and your husband has a catering business, and I want to hear a little bit about that. Now, in his catering business, do y'all? I just yelled it. Sorry,
y'all
for
come
you,
back now.
Sorry
here.
for you smart people. But is your husband's business about organic cooking, or is it just about cooking?
Well, we cook nothing but organic.
Okay.
So, and we cook from scratch. We're food snobs. We do not.
Okay.
My kids have never, except for in Italy, we let them try it once. Never ate McDonald's.
Okay.
We do not. They don't even. We don't eat that. Our palates are very. I mean, we had Michelin star restaurants in Italy.
Right.
So we make a lot of things from scratch, and most of the things from scratch. My husband's also Hawaiian.
Okay.
So he grew up with so he cooks Hawaiian. He can make Hawaiian. He can do luau for you, but everything from scratch. He has it in the garden when he has to plant it in the springtime, and he can make it.
Wow.
But we also in the summer we would do vegan.
Right.
And then vegetarian 4 times a day. So we can cook vegan, we can cook vegetarian. I'll have a vegan dish with a meat dish. I know. It's weird, but we do it.
I support you. I stand with you in your meat consumption.
But if we were going to make something, we're going to try to do it all organic, because if there's leftovers, I'm not going to eat it, so it'll go to waste.
Right.
So unless it's organic.
Okay.
So yeah. But it's healthy for you. It makes sense.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Mr. Kenneth, let's say thank you to one of our many sponsors.
All right. And sorry, got your mic off just a hair ahead there. But CM Customs is who we're going to talk about today. They do a great job with our signage here in the studio. CM Customs, embark on a journey into the realm of affordable gifting and branded excellence with CM Customs. From custom trophies to personalized closing gifts, lake maps, drinkware, professional branding items, and more, we're your go-to for unmatched customization, making you the hero of every occasion. Learn more at shopcmcustoms.com.
That guy is amazing. Clarence Shaw, CM Customs, shopcmcustoms.com.
He's super cool.
I love it when somebody comes up with an idea and then they go put it out there and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the first guys out there. They make these boards, and I guess they're like cutting boards on some level.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But they're also artistic. And he showed me one where he had engraved, I guess it was somebody's grandmother's favorite recipe
Oh, yeah.
onto the cutting board.
That's cool.
And like I saw that and I just melted. My grandmother's favorite recipe was banana split cake.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only thing she made that wasn't fried meat or fried potatoes.
Okay.
So like she had like 37 kinds of fried meat and 37
Right.
kinds of fried vegetables and banana split cake.
Yep.
And I still have that banana split cake recipe. We're going to put that on a carving board
That's awesome.
and never use it. We'll hang that up and just to be reminded of good things in life. But yeah, I love watching somebody with a good idea, take their idea, they serve people with their idea, and then they make money for it. And I think that's
Yeah.
sort of the rhythm in which we should be successful.
Yeah.
You know, serve people, make money. Don't serve money.
Right. That's
you know?
weird.
Serve money, make people. No, serve people, make money.
That's right.
Got it.
Well,
Okay.
you can make people now, I guess.
Well, you know, the 3D printer I have is pretty amazing. Anyway, we're with Marella Dias, and Marella is a member of the Business Owners Networking Group, and she and her family were living in Italy for the past couple of years. And so welcome back to the United States, and welcome to the B.O.N.G Group. And they promote the organic lifestyle. And she does that through many means. One of those is through Young Living, of which I use Young Living. I just want to throw a commercial endorsement out there.
And you're so young.
I know I don't look it, but 94 years old this month.
And you're alive.
And I'm here. Please don't say, wow, you actually do look 94. 'Cause then we got a whole new kind of trouble. But Marella, so we want to learn a little bit more about you, and we would love to hear a story that your family tells about you. We know there's a story. Do you want to share that with us?
When I was a little girl, we would go to my grandmother's house, everybody, the whole family. We have my dad's one of 6 kids.
Wow.
So I came out in the living room, and they were like, "Oh, Marella, did you pee your pants?" And I was probably in diapers, but
Okay.
it was like leaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "No, Shamara did it."
Oh, yes.
Oh,
the blame game.
blame someone else.
And like 3 times. And they kept asking. I was like, "No,
Nope.
Shamara did it."
And who's Shamara?
My sister.
Oh, that's your sister. Okay.
She does a lot of stuff, so I'll just
Yeah.
blame
I
everything
can
on
believe that. I can believe that.
Yeah, always a troublemaker. That's Shamara.
Yes. But yeah, so it just kind of shows I'm just like stubborn and
Well, stubborn's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, stick with it. A
Yeah.
stubborn person does stick with it
If it's working for
by
you.
their
they're
very nature.
stubborn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
That's
cool.
right.
So how did you start to learn then this craft of organic and watching what you eat and, you know, cooking in a particular way?
So, well, when I grew up in Asia, you kind of are surrounded by a little bit of more natural stuff. So it kind of just
Right.
came to me. Like, I mean, it was kind of around me, like acupuncture, Chinese herbs, all that stuff. They have that in Thailand. And then also, I was always very sensitive I was allergic to laundry soap. I would break out in a rash. I used
okay.
to have rashes everywhere. I looked like I had the measles, but it was a rash. And I did get healed of that by God. But I would always I was very sensitive to perfumes and even prescriptions. I would be like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
They'd put me on. I was like, nope, nope. My body just was like, no. No. So I always did my dad's a businessman. We sold Amway, okay? Like back in the day when it started.
Love Amway, one of my favorite companies.
Yeah. Then my dad signed me up when I was 17 for Shackley. And I used their laundry soap because I was allergic to everything. So,
Right.
And the guy was always like, yeah, come and learn. I'm like, dude, I'm partying. I was like, no, I'm not coming. So, and then when I came to Rhema, my friend was like, hey, come check this out. And she was selling Arbonne.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. So she was like, I had a cyst. I was supposed to have surgery, and I put the progesterone cream on.
Right.
And so I was like, whoa, cool. And so they started having classes. And she was like, did you know that the 5 top toxic laundry soaps is like Tide and I can't remember. And I was like, wait a minute, I use Shackley. And she was like, yeah, that's a good one. And I was like, okay, cool. And I call him my Shackley guy.
Right.
And he was like, we tried to tell you this. Like, well, now I'm 28,
Well, that's okay.
So I was like, so then I just started learning, and then I just started researching. And when I met my husband, I told him, I only do organic in my house. So if you're going to be with me, I don't, there's no exception.
Right.
I said, plus I'm allergic to it, and it's just not going to happen. So my husband's a natural researcher, which he does have a master's degree in research. He did not at the time, but so he just started researching too. And so I was constantly learning and wanting to know more, watching documentaries, learning about the environment. Then I would like open up my Bible and I was like, oh, God does want us to do this. And so I just learning, literally just, opening up books, opening up documentaries, researching stuff online, because now we had the internet, so I could so just literally doing that and learning. And I was like, it was just a process. And every year I learn more and more. And
here you are.
I know.
Right.
Here I am. And I started off small. Like at first I started, well, obviously my laundry soap, and then my skincare and then my makeup. And then I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. What about the food? And so then it was just like a process. And, we made no money. My husband, when I first got married, we were $10 an hour.
Oh.
And we ate organic. We went to the farmer's market and people say, you can't make it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm here to testify. You can make it.
Right.
Now it's a sacrifice. I don't go to Starbucks. I don't go, out to eat a lot. And if I do, it's very, so, I mean, I'm not like, I put all my money into organic.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. You obviously have a strong faith life and belief in certain things. How did you come to all that? What drove you to that, or how did you arrive there?
Well, I was born into it.
Okay.
So my dad actually was the first person to do Bible on cassette back in the 70s.
No kidding.
Yes. So he had a Bible bookstore. He then went to be, he said, to be a missionary in Japan.
And that's how you spent your childhood overseas. Wow.
So we did a lot of stuff. We helped my dad with stuff. And I just always knew, like I used to pretend to preach and tell my sister she was going to hell. Anyway. It was my favorite thing to do. Anyway.
Well, you got to have hobbies as a kid.
I know. And when she was partying, I was like, I told you were. No, that's mean. Anyway, so I always knew that I was going to do something with God. And when I was in Thailand, I just knew, I was like, I got to go to school. I got to go do something. I went to Youth with Mission in Malaysia. And then the girls at the church were like, you should go to OBU.
Shawnee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Old
like,
baggy underwear, we called it. I lived in Shawnee.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's right. You had your dad.
Yeah.
Reminded me of my dad. And did stuff like that. So I was like, yeah. So I looked into it, and they were like, I was like, I don't know. They just stopped talking to me. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And my friend, she's Thai, she said, well, I'm going to be going to Rhema. It's like, what's Rhema? And she was like, it's a Bible school. We should go together. And I said, okay. So I applied for that and went in, got approved. And funny enough, my son, who's 30, graduated from OBU.
No kidding.
I made him take me to the first day of the little thing because I was like, I was supposed to be here with you because I was a single mom.
Right.
So he was there. He was like a 7-year-old, and we were supposed to go to together. But yeah, so he graduated from OBU. It was meant to be. So, but I just have always, like, I just grew up in it and just always known. And I do ministry actually too. So. Well,
it's good to come up with faith in your life. That's cool, and that you got to follow your dad though on the missionary trail to Japan. And
yeah.
What a life you've had.
It has been a life. I've enjoyed it. I love it.
But my wife and I call that world schooling. When you're seeing things, and most people can't even contemplate going to Japan or living for a couple years in Italy, or going, would you say Thailand as well?
Thailand, Malaysia, and Hong Kong.
Yeah, you've been all over the world.
I almost got arrested a couple of times in my life, all for good stuff. Took Bibles into China.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this is not a confessional. This is just a small room.
I've enjoyed it. I love the fact that I grew up there.
Yeah, and that you grew up in the faith, and that it was just, you're just carrying it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, teach your kids when they're young, and that
That's
you
right.
got to live that. So, where'd you meet your husband? I want to hear that story before we wrap up.
So he went to Rhema and I went to Rhema. I'm actually 5.5 years older than him.
Okay.
I'm a cradle robber.
Okay.
And but so I already graduated, and my friend was like, "Hey, we're going to Cheddar's," and that was the go-to place after church at Rhema.
Right.
And we all did the youth group. So after church, we were like, "Okay, let's go get away from these kids." No. And his friend invited him, his friend and my friend were friends, and so they invited, and I met at Cheddar's, and I actually was like, I want to sit next to the boy with all the tattoos. And then we sat next to each other, and we could not stop talking. My friend kept interrupting. We'd look at her, and we'd go, uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then just talk. And then we hung out for the summer. He was like asking my friends, where's my wife? Where's my wife? And then I left to Seattle for 2 years, and he never called me. And then I came back, and on Facebook, he wrote me. Our friend requested him, but he wrote me to come hang out. I made him wait 3 days because I was mad that he didn't call me back.
Right.
And then we were inseparable, and just a few months later, we got married. Went to Vegas.
Well, that's a good story. That's very cool.
Yes.
Well, we are here with Marella Dias, who is an advocate of the organic lifestyle, does some work with Young Living, and
Makes homemade stuff.
Makes lots of homemade stuff. Her husband's a chef. And if you want to learn more about that lifestyle, then I think we can find Marella either in the Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group page or on Facebook as well.
Yes.
Let's wrap up. Tell us what you're passionate about.
I'm passionate about my family, but I'm also passionate about God and ministering to people and showing them God's love and the truth.
Very cool. That's as good a mission statement as we've heard. Okay, we do have a section at the end. Would you like to give a business tip to all the people out there listening? We call it the Daily Nugget.
I just would say, keep at it and don't give up, even if you feel inadequate, even if you're nervous.
You were nervous today. You've done fantastic.
Beforehand.
Oh, okay. Well, that I can't control.
But don't give up.
I think there's a beauty in not giving up.
Yes.
And you feel the same way, Kenneth?
Yes, I agree.
All right. Don't give up. That's a great message and one that we should share out there in the world. Well, sir, are you ready to wrap this show up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, let's make it a wrap. Well, that's a wrap. That's how we do it. We just say it's a wrap.
Easy.
Hey, do you want to make it a bestseller? Hey, it's a bestseller.
Hey, fire aim ready.
Fire aim ready. Well, we are thankful for Marella for joining us today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here on Cashflows, and to our sponsors who continue to lift us up out there in the world. And hopefully you, the listeners, can find a nugget in what we're doing that helps you carry on another day, that helps you take the next step, whatever the next step may be. And so our admonition for today is be nice to each other. For goodness sake, be nice to one another. You know, everybody you're talking to is somebody's son or daughter or grandparent or aunt or uncle, and we all just need to be nice to each other. And, as you go about your day, here's something to think about. Today, wouldn't it be nice if we could forgive just one person who absolutely does not deserve it? Because isn't that really the story that we're all enjoying, is that we've been forgiven of things and we don't deserve it, but that is the definition of grace. And I hope you'll live a life where grace is one of the elements in it. And to our friends out there who continue to listen and like all this and support us, we love you. And I want to remind you that this show is about you. And we are glad that you are here at Cashflows. Thanks for being here today.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.